Well, for more on the elections, we're joined now by Lubna Nadvi. She's a political science and international relations lecturer at the University of KwaZulu-Natal in Durban in South Africa. Thank you very much for your time. First things first, how significant are these results, do you think, or are we reading too much into them?
Good evening. Well, they are very significant because what it illustrates is that the ruling party, which has ruled South Africa for 22 years, the ANC, has lost very significantly across many of the regions in the local government elections. So it is significant because they were very confident that they would actually retain many of the metropolitans and local governing councils or indeed increase their support base. But they've actually lost quite a bit. And it just reflects voter disillusionment with the party and dissatisfaction with the ruling party. So that is why it is significant. It's also significant because new parties and new, groups have emerged. And we have many independent candidates who have actually won quite a bit of support. So it's reflecting a shift in terms of how the electorate in South Africa is thinking about local government issues.
And what is causing that shift? Why is the ANC losing support?
Well, basically, as I mentioned, people across the board are unhappy with service delivery issues in South Africa in particular. The issue of unemployment, the issue of lack of, service delivery effectively to many of the areas. After 22 years of government, the gap between the rich and the poor is still huge. The sort of issues relating to sanitation, water, housing, very basic things, bread and butter issues which the majority of the people had hoped would change after the advent of democracy in South Africa. For many, it hasn't actually changed. So people are disillusioned with the African National Congress. But also it's a question of the president of the ANC and the controversy surrounding him. President Jacob Zuma has had many controversies that he has had to deal with over the last several months and years. And many people have called for him to step down, but he hasn't actually done so. So I think that the voters, the electorate, have signaled their unhappiness and have actually pulled away from the party and withdrawn their support for the ANC.
How is Zuma likely to respond then? How are the party likely to respond to this result?
Well, I think that, the president has just a few minutes ago made an announcement after the final results have now been announced. And I think that, he has to accept that this is the will of the people. I think the party will have to go back to the drawing board and actually reflect on why it lost so many areas and so many votes. It has to also, attempt to understand the concerns of its traditional support base and realize that people are no longer enamored by liberation rhetoric, this idea that the ANC brought liberation to South Africa. It is now about bread and butter issues, and if the party doesn't deliver on that, and it hasn't in many instances, then of course the electorate will not support it. So it has to go back to the drawing board. It has to go back to the ground actually and work with the people to ensure that in the areas it has actually won support, it needs to deliver and it needs to retain the support of those people.
Okay, Lubna Nadvi, thank you very much.